I set my sights on doing something and I know what I'm capable of, it's not like a surprise to me. It's a surprise to y'all because y'all didn't believe me, you know? But for me, I knew I could do it, and I believed that I could do it. I just needed the opportunity.
We already know, we knew Crawford is a great fighter, and I did what I supposed to do, right? I tried for every way, and I trained really hard, and he deserved all the credit.
This is me trying to clear my bills this month. Just making it over the line. When I trolled the Bud Buddies, remember I was trolling you guys, calling Terence Bud Crawford the everything man? You're everything man. Well, apparently, according to Saul Canelo Alvarez, it's official. He is the everything man.
Everything.
Okay.
He have everything.
I will be giving away this autographed Ken Norton boxing glove to a lucky subscriber at the end of this video, all right? We've already picked the winner, thanks to Ms. Biz. And speaking of Ms. Biz, who is my wife, and she is Hispanic, Mexican woman. When I came upstairs after the fight, she was there. She watched the whole live stream, she watched the fight, all the stuff. I looked at this woman, and Ms. Biz looked at me and said, that Bud is just incredible. To this point. I believe I am the first one to say last year that if Terence Bud Crawford were to beat Saul Canelo Alvarez, he would be on the Mt Rushmore of all-time best boxers ever. I stand by that. Consistently. And after what he did last night, let's get to it. Terence Bud Crawford is on my Mt Rushmore, best boxers of all time. What I witnessed last night was the greatest win I've ever seen. And I want the boxing fans, the war room, the boxing community, the boxing revolution, past the trolling and the fun that we have on this channel. I don't want you guys to undermine the gravity of this. I've never seen a win like this before in my life. Let me give you my Mt Rushmore. Let me break it down, and then let me add a few things. My Mt Rushmore, which are only 4. I thought about this last night. I could barely sleep. Sugar Ray Robinson, Henry Armstrong, Sam Langford, and after last night, Terence Bud Crawford. Ha! No Muhammad Ali, no Floyd Mayweather, no Roy Jones. I understand. I thought about that. I thought about everything there were to think about, and those 4 guys did the incredible, the unbelievable. What Terence Bud Crawford did was some Sam Langford at lightweight fighting Joe Gans all the way up to Jack Johnson type of shit. Henry Armstrong fighting, being undisputed in 3 weight classes at the same damn time, okay? Sugar Ray Robinson being the greatest welterweight ever, greatest middleweight ever, fighting shit like that. Why is Terence Bud Crawford greater than Floyd Mayweather? Or better than Floyd Mayweather? Greater is a little bit different. Greater is impact, resume, all that shit, but better. Let me tell you why Terence Bud Crawford is a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather, who, I love you, boy. I know Floyd Mayweather family may be watching. Terence Bud Crawford, after what he did last night, is better than Floyd Mayweather because there is no way Floyd Mayweather would attempt to do that crazy shit. See, that's the insane Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvelous Marvin Hagler after being gone for 5 years type shit. Never being at middleweight, first fight at middleweight, being against Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Terence Bud Crawford never been on middleweight shit. The most he's been is super welterweight, and he was only there once. And he's fighting at 168 against one of the greatest super middleweights of all time, one of the greatest middleweights of all time, pound for pound, one of the greatest fighters of all time, reigning undisputed champion at super middleweight. That is unheard of, and that's something that Floyd Mayweather wouldn't even attempt to do. That's the Black Two Sugars. Number two, Roy Jones Jr. did some shit like this. Roy Jones Jr. is almost in my Mt Rushmore. He's right outside of it. But the reason why what Terence Bud Crawford did was better than what Roy Jones Jr. did going up to heavyweight is this. Roy Jones did the incredible going up and being a heavyweight world champion, but who he beat wasn't the best heavyweight in that division. There is no question that Saul Canelo Alvarez was the best super middleweight existing today. And now Terence Bud Crawford is. Think about that. Terence Bud Crawford is the best super middleweight in the world right now. And I don't want to hear Canelo Alvarez was a small super middleweight. He beat him. He collected all the belts. He whooped all their asses. Everybody but the Mexican monster, David Benavidez, but still. He collected all those straps, became undisputed, defended it, and then recaptured it. It was no question that Canelo Alvarez was the best there is at super middleweight. Terence Bud Crawford beat him without ever stepping a toe in super middleweight. I want you guys to understand the gravity of what we just saw last night. That is the greatest win I've ever seen in my life. I can't think of a win, but out of everybody you guys have to listen to, all the boxing analysts, everybody out there, I am going to stroke my own ego by saying, I am the guy you guys need to listen to on this one. Because I am the one who thoroughly just knew there was no way Terence Bud Crawford beat Saul Canelo Alvarez at 168. Canelo Alvarez was the super middleweight undisputed champion and younger. Terence Crawford was 26 at lightweight. Canelo Alvarez at 26, what was he, a middleweight? Terence Bud Crawford just grew to 154 at 36 years old. Canelo hasn't been able to make 154 since he was a baby. Terence Bud Crawford jumped up from welterweight to super middleweight to beat one of the greatest fighters of all time, to become 3-time undisputed in 3 different weight classes. Enough said.
Enough said.
It shed light on his victory against Errol the Truth Spence. That is for damn sure. Just the way he dominated him. Errol Spence was in there like, what the? If Canelo is saying there wasn't shit I can do in there, Errol Spence had to have been in there like, holy shit. It brings light to his resume. Everybody ducked him. We kind of knew that Bob Arum had Manny Pacquiao avoid Terence Crawford. I can't say Manny Pacquiao avoided Terence Crawford, but Bob Arum definitely did. PBC, welterweights in the PBC, all avoided him. I am here to give credit to Terence Crawford for being one of the most ducked fighters in history. So you cannot any longer blame his resume, his greatness, and look at his resume when we all know, genuinely, we have to be genuine, that he is one of the most ducked fighters of all time, like Bob Foster, like Black Murderers Row, Charlie Burley and Eddie Booker and all those guys. Listen, Terence Crawford by himself is Black Murderer's Row of this era. Now, do I need Terence Bud Crawford to continue fighting? Hell no. For what? If you beat Terence Crawford now, what do you want him to do? Strip down to 160, lose that muscle mass he has, and be a little bit. We saw that with Roy Jones Jr. But he can do it. He's the everything man. He can do it. But what I'm saying is, if you have a victory over this man now, just does it. For what? Terence Crawford, we know what you are. I am the first one to say, I didn't believe it. But brother, if you're watching Terence Crawford, you by yourself has cost me at least $30,000. That's enough for me to be convinced, bro. I bet against you on Arrow, and I bet against you with Canelo. Those are my two most popular losses I've had since I've been on this channel. So much so, it has overshadowed a lot of my victories as far as prediction. I would never bet against this man ever again. I can't afford it. I have a house, I got kids, I got a business to run. I can't afford it. I also want to say I'm sorry to Terence Crawford. Because not only did I think Canelo was going to win, I didn't think Crawford had a chance. That's different. I was thinking, do I apologize to Terence Crawford? Why? It's just my prediction. Nah, I didn't think Terence Crawford had a snowball's chance in hell. That's different. So I'm going to apologize to Terence Bud Crawford. I'm also going to apologize to the Bud Buddies. The Bud Buddies is screaming up and down saying, I told you so. And I realized that the Bud Buddies they don't hate me as much as they're like, they respect me. ShowBizz, brother. I'm almost speechless. I've very early in this video I've ran out of things to say. But I do have friends in the boxing community, in the boxing world, who said it for a very long time. I'm telling you, people like Antonio Tarver, people like Chico Lopez, who has hit me up and said, I'm telling you, ShowBizz, Terence Crawford, and I'm talking about when Terence was a welterweight, he's gonna beat him. Now, the scorecards has it 115, 113, 116, 112, not bad. I had it 116, 112. And I think technically those are the right scores. But in reality, Terence Bud Crawford beat that man 11-1. Technically, score-wise, yeah, Canelo was taking rounds. But in reality, Terence Crawford dominated him. He was in full control, dominated him, controlled him. That, just like Canelo said, Canelo, this is the first time I've heard Canelo say, there was nothing I can do. I mean, with Floyd, he's like, you know, I was young, right? I was stripped down, met him at a catch weight 152. He can look at that and have an explanation for it. With Bivol, you know, I went up to light heavyweight, and I think I won that fight. He thinks he won. This is the first time I heard Canelo say there's nothing I could have done. He did everything. He's an everything man. Terence Bud Crawford not only outboxed him, he outfought him. When there were exchanges and they were throwing, he outfought him. And I'm going to tell you this. That was, when people say Canelo Alvarez, that wasn't the best or whatever, you can kiss my ass. That Canelo was good. I was looking at, Canelo tried everything. He even tried to hit him on top of the head, like Triple G. He tried everything. He tried to trade with him. There was shit he can do. And I saw Terence Crawford give Canelo Alvarez Bambi legs. Bambi legs. Bruh. He beat a very good Canelo Alvarez. And if you think Canelo Alvarez skills has diminished, Terence Crawford is going to be 38 in a couple of days. 38! At that age, I've been watching boxing for a very long time, bro. I'm going to show a few of my shorts at the end to show my consistency on this. I said that I wanted Bud to win. I said that over and over again. Why? Because of this morning. The morning after. Block! Block! Thing is, I hope Bud wins. I'm going to say it again. I hope he wins. I'm going to be rooting him on. I wanted Terence Bud Crawford to win. I thought what this would do for boxing is incredible. Now it has gone viral. It's everywhere. It's viral. This man beat arguably the greatest Mexican fighter in the world on Mexican Independence Day weekend, who has a huge contract, 3-fight, the biggest ever. And in light of all that, Terence Crawford said, I'm the man. He crashed out for Omaha. Before I say who won the Ken Norton autographed boxing glove, one, I gotta leave here with something. I lost $20,000. I need to win a fantasy. I got 2 fantasy football leagues. I'm sorry. This. I know I died. I have 2 fantasy football leagues. I gotta leave here with something. I need a victory somewhere. Okay, who that? Saints. You gotta win a game. Some shit. Losing $20,000 is nothing to sneeze at. Once again, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, Naoya Inoue dominates MJ. Missed the fight. It was on Facebook. I said, I can't really call that fight live. I'm sorry, you guys. I went to sleep. The legendary Ricky Hatton, we found out early this morning that Ricky Hatton has passed away. He was found in his house, in his home. That one hurts. Unexpected. He's around my age. Is he 46? So that one hurts. Rest in peace. We love you, Ricky Hatton. We love you and your family. But Terence Crawford. Mt Rushmore. Sugar Ray Robinson, Henry Armstrong, Sam Langford, Terence Bud Crawford. And the winner of this autographed Ken Norton boxing glove. You ready? Derek Mack! Ah! Congratulations, brother. Listen, your name is spelled a certain way, all right? So I know when it's you in the comments. Email me, right? ShowBizTheAdult.com. No, ShowBizTheAdult@gmail.com. I'm sorry. And I'm going to add a code to your comment. You send me the code and your address and all those things. All right? But let me know it's you first. Email me first. Ken Norton autographed boxing glove. I wanted Ken Norton because Ken Norton shocked the world when he beat Muhammad Ali. I think he beat him 3 times. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think Ken Norton, yeah, I watched all 3 fights. I don't know when, maybe the 3rd, I don't know. But Ken Norton, in my opinion, Ali got him 2 out of 3. In my opinion, Ken Norton beat him 3 times. When I say, last thing, I wanna say this too, because I missed the point. When I say this is the greatest victory I've ever witnessed, I didn't see the Rumble in the Jungle. But I think as far as an op, it's better than that. A moment, probably not. Okay, the Rumble in the Jungle is a greater moment when Muhammad Ali beat George Foreman. But I think Muhammad Ali and George Foreman was around the same size, arm length, both heavyweights. You hear what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali knew he'd beat him. Well, Terence Crawford, he knew he'd beat Canelo. But what I'm saying is, I think as far as an op, this is more improbable. When Jack Johnson beat Jim Jeffries is probably the greatest impact in boxing culture. It was like on Mexican Independence Day, what Terence Crawford did with Canelo Alvarez. This was on America's birthday, the Independence Day, on the 4th of July, back in the early 1900s. And he did it in front of an all-white crowd. And I mean, that's just, you know what I'm saying. So impact-wise, Joe Louis, Max Schmeling, it's now on that level. But as far as the op, Joe Louis was bigger than Max Schmeling, better fighter. You get what I'm saying? Knocked him out quick. As far as an op, I just don't know. I think this is the most impossible or improbable fight victory. I can't really think of another one. If you can, let me know in the comments below. But Terence Bud Crawford, one of the greatest or one of the best boxers of all time, in the greatest victory of all time. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. ShowBizz for adult. Here come a few of my shorts to show some consistency here. And I'm out.
The amount of crow the war room will have to eat if Bud wins will feed a nation. What you don't understand is I don't care about eating crow. I don't care about I told you so right. I don't give a damn. I want to know what the truth is. If the truth is Bud is better and he beat Canelo, that is the greatest thing I've seen. Y'all petty. I was sit here wrong. I was wrong. And thank God I was, because we just watched something that I've never, ever seen before, that I never thought I would ever even imagine. It's not about me. It's about the truth. In order to think Crawford beats Canelo, the only way to think that is to guess, because there's too many things we haven't seen. We haven't seen anyone who can match him. We haven't seen him as a middleweight, let alone 168. How do you know how he is? You're just guessing. That's why when people talk about Crawford beating Canelo, they only say, I got Crawford. Why? He's just really good. They don't have anything. And you said the same thing with Spence. You're stupid. Spence was a welterweight and nothing like Canelo. The thing is, I hope Bud wins. I'm going to say it again. I hope he wins. I'm going to be rooting him on. Hell, I wanted Jamel to beat Canelo because I wanted Jamel to be undisputed at 154 and then be it again against Canelo. I was like, holy shit, undisputed versus undisputed. That's crazy. If Bud beats Canelo, when it comes to the opposition, the task itself, it is the greatest win ever. 1 or 2 fights don't put fighters on a Mt Rushmore. That's a fact. But with Terence, it's different. I'm not saying he'll be one of the greatest fighters ever. For me, he's one of the best fighters ever. Meaning that I can put him up against any fighter at any time, and he can possibly beat him. So if he does this with Canelo, a prime Terence Crawford versus a prime Sugar Ray Robinson, I'm like, I don't know who wins because of the impact of this fight. Number 2, when it comes to Terence Crawford, he's a special case because I don't know if Crawford is really as good as they say he is. But if he beats Canelo, he very well is. And with that being the case, the greatness of his career was robbed from him because of all the ducking. Pacquiao, the PBC, he just could not get the opportunity. He had to fight around shit.